Hello, my fellow nerds. It is the day. Today, here on Nerd Crew, I'll be going over my Switch 2 launch night. And you could tell I did a heavy breathing because I'll be honest with you, it did not go super well. I did get my Switch 2, as you can see in the thumbnail that this video has. I did get my Switch 2 on launch day at midnight. Unfortunately, I didn't have the greatest experience, and so I kind of wanted to make a video about it, if I'm being honest with you. But it's not going to be all bad. There was some good stuff that happened, and so this video won't be just complete negativity, but I felt that I've been going online, I've been seeing everyone else's responses to their midnight launches at Best Buys and Gamestops, and I just wanted to share mine. So what I did was basically going back months to when we pre-ordered. Erica, myself, and a couple of our friends went on Discord. We went on Best Buy's website, Walmart's website, Target's website, and we all tried pre-ordering. Now, the pre-orders were botched, of course. People already know that. But me and Erica were able to get a Best Buy pre-order. We also got a Walmart pre-order, which I did end up keeping, and I actually sold it to a friend and coworker of mine because they weren't able to get one on launch or on pre-order. And so no scalping, no bullshit. I just was like, hey, I'm either going to cancel this pre-order or you can buy it off of me. And so they ended up buying it off of me, which was really nice because I just didn't want to, though I was thinking about keeping the pre-order just because, any funny business, at least I have a second one, but everything's working out for the best. Then comes today, technically this morning, June 4th to June 5th. It's launch night. I pre-ordered my games. I pre-ordered Mario Kart World and Guardians of Azuma, the Rune Factory game. And I pre-ordered those two games at GameStop, my local GameStop, because my original plan was to go to Best Buy and get the system and then go to GameStop afterward to pick up my games because GameStop is closer to my house. But then about, I want to say a month ago, I walked into that GameStop and asked them if they were doing any special events. And they told me they weren't sure yet, but they're working on it. So then fast forward to June 3rd. I was in the area. I went to that GameStop again and asked, you guys said we were thinking about planning a big event. Did you figure it out? And they were like, yes, we're going to do a huge event. We're going to have a food truck. We're going to have free snacks. We're going to have free drinks. They said they were going to play the Mario movie in the parking lot. They said they were going to do a costume contest and something else. I can't remember. I think giveaways. And I was like, oh, that's pretty awesome. And I know Best Buy's not doing anything special. So I was like, how do I do this? How do I work this? And I was like, you know what? I'll just split it up. So yesterday, Erica went to GameStop and she went to the party and had fun and stuff. And then I went to Best Buy and waited for the system because I didn't want to risk missing out on stuff, so to speak. And so that's how we did it. I basically dropped Erica off at GameStop and then went to the Best Buy. And at Best Buy, when I got there was only 3 other people in line for the pre-order section. And then Best Buy had a separate line for people who haven't pre-ordered who are going to be purchasing that night. Now, the cool thing was, one, the people I was standing in line with were really cool. I wish I had gotten their names, honestly, but I ended up not getting their names. But one guy actually worked at the Best Buy as a subcontractor for Sony, and he was telling us all the inside information, which was really cool. So he was telling us oh yeah, that line's for people who are buying it today. And he's like, and most of them are probably going to get one because we have 100 of them in the store. And he was like, you know what? I don't think I'm supposed to be telling you guys that. And I was like, just keep giving us information, man. That's fine. So that's how we found out that they're doing goodie bags. I ended up asking him about the coins that Best Buy was apparently giving out, and he went and checked for us, and they did indeed give us coins, which I will go in this video, and I'll show you what I got. But the Best Buy was fine. I will say the only thing was there wasn't really any seating. I didn't bring seating, and so I had to just stand there for 2 hours, which was fine. That was my own fault. I should have brought a seat with me. And it was pretty simple. They brought in 3 people at a time. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me backtrack a little bit. Every time a new person got in line, they would send a Best Buy associate out to get their order number and their name. That way, and I found this out later, they would go back into the store, get your order already pre-prepared, put your name or some kind of sticker on it, and that way, when it came time for midnight, they brought in 3 people from our line, 3 from the other line, and yeah, the people who had to buy stuff, it took a minute, so they had to go into a register and do all that. For the people who pre-ordered it, we also got a little page, which actually I might have in my back pocket still. Yeah, I still have it. They gave us this kind of order form, which if you wanted to add any games or accessories, you could check the boxes and then they would again add that to your order. So they were kind of pre-preparing everything, and it was perfect. Like, I walked in, I was number 4 in line. I walked in, my order was on the floor already waiting. He scanned my receipt. He scanned the sticker, the barcode sticker on the Switch. He handed it to me, gave me my goodie bag, gave me my coin, and was like, "Do you want a bag?" I said no, and then he was like, "All right, you're all set." And I left. That was it. It was super quick. I left. I got in the door at probably 12:01 and was out the door by like 12:03. Like, literally minutes. Like, they were on point. They had a good amount of people there. I think it was like 8 employees plus like 1 or 2 security guards. So Best Buy, great job. Then we flipped the script. I will say, while I was in Best Buy's line, Erica was sending me pictures from the Gamestop like event and party, and it looked like fun. It looked like such a fun time. I mean, they were playing Smash Brothers on like this blow up like screen that they had. I think were playing the Mario movie at some point. Again, they had the food truck. They gave out snacks and cookies and drinks and soda and water and stuff. It sounded like a great time, and everyone in the Best Buy line was jealous as hell. They were like, "Man, Best Buy ain't doing shit over here," and they're over there partying in the next town over. So I got in my car, I took a picture, put it on Instagram, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to go pick Erica up. I'm assuming by the time I get there, because it's about 15 minutes away, that she'll be done. I can just pick her up and we can go home and start playing. Because she has to work today. And so I was like, let me get home early enough so that she can play at least for like an hour, and then she was going to go to bed because she could go into work a little bit late. But then I get all the way to GameStop, and the line is pretty long, like probably about, I would say 40, 50 people deep, and I don't see Erica. I assumed I wouldn't because she was like 6th or 7th in line, so I was like, she's probably already in the store. And so I call her, and then she basically was like, hey, I'm running into an issue. Let me call you back. And so the issue was, when I pre-ordered the games, I bought them. I didn't just put a deposit down. I bought the 2 games, and I got a receipt. Apparently, and even though I asked, and even though Erica asked 3 times while at the event, they said that receipt would be fine. Apparently it wasn't. It was a paid for receipt, but it wasn't a pickup receipt. And the difference is literally the pickup receipt just says pickup on it. And because of that, basically she waited in line. They were taking forever. She hands them a receipt, and they tell her, oh, you don't have the right receipt. Let me get you the right one. Gives her the right receipt, and then goes, okay, now go back in line and wait again. And I'm just like, and when she told me that, because she came out the door with nothing except for the receipt, and I was like, that is arbitrarily the dumbest thing I've ever heard. We were probably the only people at that GameStop not buying a system or picking up a system. We were only getting 2 games. So in my mind, the way they should have did it was, okay, I see you're only getting games. Let me just get those for you now so I can get you out of my store and handle these other people who have these bigger orders. But instead, they wanted her to go back and wait and be number 60. She was number, like, I want to say 8 in line, and they wanted to jump her to the back. Luckily for her, she did kind of, throughout the event, she was talking to the people around her, and one of them let her cut back in line, basically, to go into her original spot, which was really nice of that guy, so kudos to that guy. But it was taking hours. I got to that GameStop at 12:20ish. We didn't leave that GameStop till like 1:50 in the morning. And again, she was still like 8th in line. That's like 2 hours for 8 people. And I found out the reason why was because what GameStop was doing was no preparedness, at least this one. I can't bash all GameStops, but this one, which is normally a good GameStop for the record. My local GameStop, I always like going there and supporting them. I was pissed, dude. I was so mad because my plan was to get the system, get home, set it up, test a couple things, and then just start playing Mario Kart with my friends. And like an hour went by, and basically the problem was your receipt had a specific serial number from a Nintendo Switch. It matched one. So they had to take people's receipts, go into the back, and match the exact serial numbers of the systems. And the problem was they did no preparedness. So basically every time someone came in with their receipt, they would have to go and be like, all right, check every single one until you find it, and then give it to the person. Which isn't a terrible system in and of itself, but if you were going to do something like that, like Best Buy, you should have been going down the line in the 4 hours leading up to this event, getting people's names and information off their receipts, and then like start pre-labeling them all. Get a sticky note or whatever and put people's names on it so they can walk up, here you go, get out of my store. Instead, they had a good amount of employees. They had like 7 employees there. I think 6 or 7. So basically it was like one lady at the register, like the head person. I don't think she was a manager, but she was definitely like their lead. And then all the associates, the minor associates, were in the back, basically. I think each one of them had a receipt, and it was just like a free-for-all of like, all right, you handle this order, you handle this order, and it's just whoever gets your order the fastest, that's how it happens. And again, the part that really burned me the hardest was we only went there for games. You could have just literally grabbed them out of the drawer and been like, here's your games, get the fuck out of my store so I could handle all this other cluster that was happening. And yeah, the line didn't even move for like an hour. And then slowly, about every 5 minutes, I started seeing one person leave with a system in their hands. And I was like, this is insane. Erica texted me at like 1:20 that she was 5th in line at that point. And we still, again, took another 25 minutes. Then she gets the games. We go home. We're bitching about it in the car. We're pissed off. You know, it's like 2 a.m. now. I get home. I take the games out of the bag. Guardians of Azuma is the wrong game. They gave me Mario Kart World, which is proper Switch 2 title, has the red banner and the good artwork and all that stuff. But for Guardians of Azuma, they gave me the Switch 1 version. And now you might be sitting there going like, dude, get over yourself. Just keep the Switch 1 version. The problem is the Switch, from what I understand, the Switch 2 version has the Switch 1 and 2 versions on the cartridge so that you can put it into either system. I don't think the Switch 1 version has that. And more importantly, even if it does, the Switch 1 version is $10 cheaper. So they charged me $70 for Guardians of Azuma. On my receipt, it says Switch 2 in bold, by the way. It says Guardians of Azuma in bold Switch 2. So there's no reason they should have mistaken it. So I was like, I can either wait until tomorrow to go back to the GameStop when they open, or I could just handle this now. And I was like, I don't want to wait because I don't want to go to the store and them tell me something like, oh, sorry, we already got rid of all of our copies, or sorry, we can't trust that your story's correct. You waited too long, kind of a thing. And so I went back to the store. I went to the back of the line, which at this point was about, again, still like 30 people deep. I stood there for 4 seconds and I was like, what am I doing? I'm just going to bypass all these people. Like, not to be a Karen, not to be an asshole, but I was like, I'm going to bypass all these people and go talk to someone. So I did. I just skirted around the line. I went in. The lady looked at me like, kind of like, oh no, what's wrong? And I showed her the game. And at this point I was exhausted and pissed. And I was just like, dude, you guys gave me the wrong fucking game. And she was like, well, what do you mean? I was like, this is supposed to be a Switch 2 version. This is a Switch 1 version. And she's like, dude, I'm sorry. Let me handle that for you right now. I'll switch it out for you. I was like, okay, we're going to get this fixed. We're going to go home and we're going to relax. She goes into the back. She was taking care of an order. So she was handling that guy first. She comes back with his order, checks him out, and then she looks at me and she's like, listen, I'm really sorry, but like, we don't have any extra copies of that game right now. We only have Switch 1 versions. It looks like whoever took your pre-order messed up, and that's why we got extra copies of the 1, but not the 2 version. So she was like, the only thing I can do is, she was like, you can either keep the game or I can just give you a refund. That's all I can do right now. I was like, you know what? Just give me the refund, because I do want the Switch 2 version if I'm going to get that game again, which I probably will. But I want the Switch 2 version. You know, I'm starting my Switch 2 collection, so I want Switch 2 cases, but also because, again, that's what I paid for. I paid for the upgraded, better version of the game. And even so, when she tried returning it, she's like, all right, so your refund's going to be, $60. I was like, no. It's a Switch 2 version. It should be $70. And I checked, and I looked at the receipt again. I was like, see, the receipt even says $70. You guys charged me for a Switch 2 version. And I even told her before she refunded me, I was like, you guys don't even have like the open case copy, because I'm going to literally go home and open it in 4 seconds. I don't care if it's open, because you know how GameStop always opens one copy to put on the shelf. So I was like, you don't even have the shelf copy, like anything? And she was just like, nah, bro, they were like, she was like, they barely sent us any of those games. So I think they only sent them the amount of pre-orders they had. And I don't even think they did that. Honestly, I think they sent them the wrong stuff, if I'm being honest with you. So I got my refund. I went home, basically beaten and battered at like 2:20 in the morning. And then I hopped on here pretty much and started setting up my Switch. Now, I didn't really want to make like a complainer video. You know what I mean? I was hoping that this video, when in my mind, was going to be like a quick 5-10 minutes about like how awesome the event was. And then I was going to go into some stuff I want to do with the Switch too. Okay, so I was editing this video actually, and I happened to get a phone call from the GameStop, and they basically, their manager called me and told me they ended up finding my copy of Rune Factory, and she apologized about the issues the night before, and she basically, because she already given me a refund, I basically repaid for the game, but they actually gave me a little discount. She said she charged me the shelf price. I don't know what that really means. And then there was like a $5 gift card on my pro membership. So I ended up getting, I think, like close to 10 to 11 bucks off. But I do in fact have my copy of Guardians of Zuma Switch 2 edition. So it was a rough night and everything, and this doesn't like 100% forgive them and everything. But I mean, I don't want my local GameStop closing or anything like that. So I'm just gonna kind of be like, I'm glad they made it right. I even apologized to her and said, listen, I know I got a little short with you last night, so I apologize for that, but I'm glad they made it right. And yeah, it was just a rough experience. But I'm just happy that I was able to get the game, and now I have a single player game to play for the Switch 2. So I'm happy about that. And I also do want to actually show you guys what I got at the event. I will say, from the Walmart pre-order that we have that I'm selling to my friend, we got surprised. The Walmart ones I started seeing online, I thought it was a joke, like a meme, but apparently the Walmart ones come wrapped in like a paper bag, and then they come in a Walmart bag, like a cloth one, and then they come with a can of Pringles and a Coke, and I have no idea why, but they do. And so like when Eric actually accidentally sent this one to her job, so I went to her job this morning, she gave me the Switch 2, and she was like, I'm so exhausted, I'm keeping the Coke. And she took the Coke and I took the Pringles. But it's just so it was so random. I was like, I saw it like 3 or 4 times online because people have been, saying how they've been getting their Switch 2s like early in the morning, and hers at the Walmart one showed up at like 7 a.m. So, or actually even earlier, I think it was like 6 a.m. because she got a text from her coworker. And it was like, I couldn't believe it. It actually did come with Pringles and a Coke, and just like not even a 2 liter, just like a little mini, like, normal bottle of soda. But that's everything that happened. I will say overall, I did get to play a little Mario Kart with Erica this morning, and I played a little bit when I came home last night. It is a fun game so far. I can't wait to dive deeper into it, this system, as well as some other questions and stuff I have. I'm going to save that for another video, I think. I think this one is going to purely be my experience. And also, I wanted to show you the guys the swag. You know what I mean? I think that's important to record. So basically, here it is. Okay, so here's basically the swag that I got at Best Buy. Because remember, GameStop really gave away like food and stuff. So of course, we already ate all that. But Best Buy had some pretty decent goodies. I will say the first thing isn't really a goodie, but it is just the form. I was saying it in the video. This is like the form that they gave everyone to, like, check off what they wanted, even though they didn't give us pens to check things off. I think they just were like, tell us what you want and we'll add it to your order and then charge you then. And this is kind of what they handed out, just a simple little form, but very organized, very like clean. Whoever made the form knew what they were doing. They have everything here. I ended up not adding anything. I was very tempted to add the SD card, but then I realized that the Switch 2's memory is fine for now. I was also tempted to add the camera, but I think I'm going to hold off on that. And then the last thing I was tempted to add on was honestly Cyberpunk, and I'm starting to regret not adding Cyberpunk because of the fact that I ended up not getting Guardians of Zuma from them, which was a little annoying. But I think at this point, I'm just going to kind of hold off and wait to get another game and just stick with Mario Kart and some of my Switch 1 backlog. But then the other thing that Best Buy gave us was this little swag bag, and so here it is. It's just a little bag full of goodies, and I'm going to reach in and show you what they gave us. So all of it was randomized. According to the guy we were talking to who worked there, he was like, there's, different masks and different like stickers and stuff. But the first thing was this mask, which, can fit like a child's face, I guess. But, I got Toadette. I know the guy I was in line with said that there was a Waluigi one he really wanted, but they had everything. I think they had Mario, Toad, Toadette, Luigi, probably Peach. I didn't really get to see all the masks. I just kind of saw mine and like 1 or 2 other ones. And it's made of felt. It's pretty decent quality, honestly. I don't know where they got this from. I did put it on, but obviously it's way, 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 way too small for my face. So I was tempted to put it on for a thumbnail picture, but I ended up not doing that. But yeah, so we got that. Next up, we got this straw. We got a little like funky straw here with the little Mario. It's kind of one of those like rubber backed little things. This is kind of neat. I don't know if I'll ever actually use this crazy straw, but like it was a cool little thing. I mean, I'm sure these grab bags probably cost them like a couple bucks to make, honestly. So it's nice to get what we, it's nice just to get free stuff, if I'm being honest with you. So the next thing that we got was a button. Your typical, okay quality button. I got Yoshi. I would guarantee that like these Marios and these Yoshis, these were probably like, different things that you could grab. There was probably randomized and stuff like that. But the next thing we got was this little Boo stamp. This is a stamp. At first I thought it was a whistle because it has like a hole back here, but it's not. It is a little stamp. I haven't tried it on anything yet. Let me see. Do I have this receipt? Oh yeah. That's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. But yeah, they gave us a little stamp. I have Boo. I guarantee you there's probably other characters and stuff too, but you know, that was that. And then I will, oh, there's more in here. Hold on. There is this little keychain that we got. I got a Luigi one. It's also made of the same material as this Mario thing. It's a kind of rubbery material, but you know, that's pretty neat. I'll probably end up going ahead and putting that on my keychain. And then the last like stuff they gave us really was the stickers. And you could tell it was just kind of like a random sticker pack. Like I've got, you know, the green mushroom. I got a little spiky guy. I got Mario. I got a Mario Maker one. Oh, this is a cute one. The toads with the thing. And then also Lakitu. So those are the stickers that I ended up getting. Again, I'm sure if you went to the Best Buys, they probably had different stuff for different locations. This is what was at my location inside that little grab bag. And I think it was pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe they could have given us other stuff. Maybe they could have had like an event like GameStop had. But it's nice to get free stuff. Honestly, it's nice that they were celebrating the Switch and having a good time with it. So I'm pretty happy about that. And then the last thing that we did get, and this was announced before the event happened, I remember seeing it on Bluesky, was a commemorative coin. So here's the coin, still in its packaging. It's got some pretty decent weight to it, I will say. But here it is. It says Switch 2, Nintendo Switch 2. And then on the other side it says Best Buy 2025. So, yeah, it's a promotional item. I'll be honest with you, one of the reasons I am so glad that I did the Best Buy launch was because of something like this. I don't think this thing's going to be worth any money or anything like that, but it's a nice little, you know, thing. It's a nice little trinket to have. It's something I can put like on my shelves, on my walls, and just be like, hey, look what I got when I went and got my Switch 2. It's something to remember. And it's actually better looking quality than I thought it was going to be, because I really thought this was going to be like a cheap plastic coin, but it is I think it might actually be, I think it's metal. I think it is a metal coin, but yeah. And that's basically everything that came in the swag bag. And then I also got the coin. Like I said, GameStop wasn't really giving stuff away, unfortunately. They did have prizes for a costume contest at the one that Erica went to, but unfortunately, I don't think anyone ended up dressing up, if I'm being completely honest with you. Erica wanted to, but because we were going kind of on the late side, we weren't sure how things were going, and so she didn't want to get in a costume. And I'm so glad she didn't, because honestly, coming home at 2:30 in the morning, standing in a costume all day, I'm sure she would have been just like miserable. But enough about that, enough about the negativity. But yeah, that is everything I got on the Switch 2 launch night. And yeah, that's everything I got, you know, at the launch. You know, thanks again, you know, Best Buy for being awesome. I really wish I could have said thanks again, GameStop and Walmart for being awesome, but Walmart was, you know, whatever. They, you know, delivered on time and they gave us extra stuff, I guess. But GameStop, man, I'm so disappointed. Like, I'm going to be 100% real with you. I'm so disappointed. I do kind of feel bad because I wasn't that nasty with her, but she could tell I was really upset and pissed that they had messed up the game, and the fact that I had to sit there and wait 2 hours for a game only anyway. So I think the next time I go in there, I may end up apologizing, to be honest with you, because I do kind of feel bad. But overall, that was my experience. And yeah, if you like this video, if you just like nerdy content about, you know, video games, manga, anime, DVDs, whatever, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you like this video specifically, maybe I can make some more Switch 2 content. I'm really not going to dive too heavily into it. I know there's a lot of big time YouTubers who are going to be covering the Switch 2. I don't really want to compete with those guys. So I'm just going to kind of make a couple little mini videos probably on it and stuff. But yeah, go ahead and follow us over on Bluesky and Instagram. And if you like this content, go ahead and hit the follow and subscribe button. Leave us a comment below. How was your experience at your local GameStop or Best Buy? I did notice that a lot of people that I saw online had great experiences at their GameStop. So maybe I was one in a million. Who knows? But let me know down in the comments how your, you know, night went. If you got your system, if you were able to play with your friends and have a good time, or if maybe you had a bad time like us. But thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you nerds later.